Hey, everybody, and we're back on Friday right now. This is Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived, and I'm here with my buddy Jeannie. How you doing, sweetie?
Oh, I'm good. How are you? Hi,
Good,
John.
good.
Hi
Our
guys,
guest,
how are you?
our guest today is John Wesolowski
Yes.
again. Did I
Welcome
spell your
back.
name right this time, John?
And the name is spelled right on
Two
both
W's.
names. Yes.
I did that. I did that also with a couple of other people, and one of
Uh,
them was our dear sweet Gianni. And I feel terrible about it because I wanted to go back in and fix it, but unfortunately, because of me, some of our previous podcasts got deleted, and that's a long story. But we're going to
well,
have Gianni back on
I've
again.
been called many things, so a letter missing here and there is no
Yeah,
big deal.
without a W is not that bad, right? So, we're going to talk a little bit before we get
Okay.
into your stories about
Sure.
some current stuff on WWE and AEW. Now, Jeannie and I, if Johnny's not going to do it with us this week, we're going to do it if everything's okay with you still on Monday at 5 o'clock. Do the recap for the AEW. Um,
Okay.
WWE, we know that CM Punk is the new world champion, and we know that Jade Cargill is the new women's champion. Um, I will tell you the last time that I don't know if you remember this, both of you, but there was a time when China, I think it was, took Marlena. I think it was Marlena, right? She was Dusty. What's his name? Dustin Rhodes' wife, and she picked her up and shook her. Remember? And like this ragdoll thing, she's going back and
Oh,
forth,
yeah,
and her
yeah,
hair's
yeah,
all over.
yeah.
Well, that's kind of to me the way Trish Stratton or Tiffany Stratton. I get her and Trish Stratus confused all the time. Tiffany Stratton looked when Jade Cargill was just throwing her around before she lost the match. But it was a half decent match. It really was. The match with the tag team match with uh, CM Punk and Jay Uso, it was crazy because they went against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and then all of a sudden, like at the end when it was getting crazy, I'm all these names are coming out of my mouth at one time now. Um, Logan Paul jumped in, okay, and he made it obviously look like he was going to go on the side of CM Punk and Jay Uso. He took out his
Brass
uh,
knuckles.
brass knuckles and he put them on like he was going to hit one of the reeds or one of the bronze or whatever you want to call them. Turned around and he hit CM Punk, knocked him out, and so now he's on the side of Paul Heyman and his little group. And I saw yesterday, I think, on Instagram where CM Punk got up and he's like this, and he's looking on the ring like as if he had lost his teeth, and he's covering his mouth. And Jay's trying to tell him, man, he had on the brass knuckles, and he did this and he did that. So it was entertaining. I did enjoy that part of it. So I'm assuming in the future it's going to lead up to either a 6-man tag or another tag team match with Logan Paul involved, either way, or it could just be CM Punk against Logan Paul, which I think would be a good match. I really do. I think it would be a good match. The only thing, like I said before, I don't like, and that's in any federation, is when there's a ton of jump ins at the last
Oh,
minute.
yeah.
It never gives the
When
wrestler an
there's too
opportunity.
much going on, it's just too much. You can't
Right,
follow it. Wait, what's going on over here? And then you miss what's going on over there because
right.
you're like everything's going on at once, and it's just no.
And but
I'm
it
with you.
you don't have the opportunity to see wrestlers wrestle sometimes. I don't like that interference all the time. AEW has interferences, absolutely. But a lot of their matches will go from beginning to end with pretty much the 2 people or 4 people or whoever are involved. Um, so I like to see that. I like to see a wrestler be able to show his potential to whatever point they're allowed to show it. So we're going to be watching SmackDown tonight, and I watched most of AEW on Wednesday, which was a half decent show. So I'm going to watch it again over the weekend, and then we're going to watch Collision on Saturday. Um, Also, I read, okay, that the numbers for Saturday night's main event were not as big as they thought they were going to be because, unfortunately, again, it went on to Peacock, and a lot of people like me canceled their Peacock because we figured, well, we're not going to be able to watch it anyway with the ESPN stuff, so why keep Peacock? So I got rid of Peacock. So then I didn't want to go repay for Peacock again because the price went up. So I just said, "Ah, heck with it," So then we missed it. I think a lot of people had that same mindset.
Well, I
Well, I'm
kept Peacock because I watch it for other things, but um, I had it in my head that it came on at 8 o'clock because normally 8 o'clock.
right.
Well,
Right.
apparently it came on at 7 o'clock,
Oh
so
wow.
I missed the first hour.
Right.
But the last hour or the last 2 hours, whatever it was, you know, it was okay. Did you
Yeah.
watch it, John?
No, I'm not really into it right now so much.
Yeah, me neither.
I was in and out for a while, I guess, when my son was into it a little bit more, but
Hmm.
he's long since moved away, and I don't really follow it.
Well, we follow. I mean, look, I have followed it all my life.
Oh, that's your
Okay.
life. That's your life.
Exactly. That is part of my life, and I'm not going to say that I'm not following it anymore. Even if I wasn't doing the podcast, I would still be following it. Okay. I love wrestling. And to me, Thursday night and Sunday night when there's no wrestling is like the time I have to find something else to watch, or I watch reruns or something. But I will always watch it. I will always watch AEW, WWE, and now I can get TNT. Is it or TNA? TNA. I can get that now. So I'm going to start Impact. I'm going to start watching that. So forget it. I'm going to be watching wrestling all week. And, that's the end of it. Also, before we go on, I want to thank everybody for your well wishes. I had a terrible week this week. I had a bad bout with an arthritis flare up mixed with a gout flare up. And boy, let me tell you, anybody who has ever had those, knows it. Just gout alone is one of the worst pains you can have in your life. And mixing both of them together, forget it. I only went back to work today. I only was there half a day. I had to come home. So thank God I'm doing a lot better. Medication sometimes is the best thing. So the doc gave me some medicine and I'm good. Also, I wanted to give an update on Paul. For those of you who don't know, Paul, it was the originator of our company years ago, of the Squared Circle, of Wrestling Radio, of everything we did. He was the guy. He had all the connections. He had everything, and he was my ex-husband. And through the years, as we all get older, we all get ailments and illnesses. Paul had kidney failure, and he was been in a nursing home for several years now. He lost his legs, and recently he had a couple of strokes, and he was in intensive care in the CCU, actually, not intensive care. They had to put a respirator on him, that kind of thing. But when they took the respirator off to see if he could breathe on his own, and thank God he's been breathing on his own. And the funny thing is that with all the distress that he's been going through, and the fact that he is having difficulty breathing on his own, but he's doing it. He is a fighter. He is a trooper. John, Paul. Jeannie, Paul. And it's funny because in the middle of all this, he said to the nurse, he said, I need you to call my barber. I need a haircut. I mean, who does that? Somebody who's like had a couple of strokes, on a respirator, and is worried about getting his hair cut.
Well, it's good to know that he still has some hair to cut. Yeah.
And not a lot. I'll tell you right now, he doesn't have a lot, but he's still got that forever mustache. Paul, God bless you. Everybody loves you. We're just hoping that everything goes well for you. And I'm telling you, if anybody, and you two here are witnesses, if anybody can pull through this, he can. He is one of the biggest.
Yeah,
players.
absolutely. Because as much as I love Paul, and just an amazing guy, a generous heart, a generous spirit, an amazing human being.
Yes.
He's stubborn as hell too.
Oh my God. You know what I like to say?
And can be a real ball buster and all that kind of stuff. But that's how he showed his love and all. So, but oh my God, he is hard headed. So if he wants to fight and he's like, screw you, I'm sticking around.
Yeah. I could just see like, they say when God forbid you pass, your relatives come and see you, or an angel comes to get you, or I could just see him say, nah, I got more arenas to go to. My bucket list isn't done yet. I'm not ready. I got some planning to do. I got to bust some more chops. I have to do what I got to do. I'm not doing it. I can see him doing that. I can literally see him doing that. And I just want to say, God bless you. Everybody's praying for you. And I'll keep you guys posted as we go along. So without any further ado, John, you have a ton of stories. I know you do. You were excited since the last time you were on. Yeah, and you got your little index cards with you?
I do.
Oh my God, look how many there are. You might have to save some of that for the third time.
It may not fit tonight, so anyway.
That's all right. You can come back. And I know in the last time you were on, we had really good reception. People were like, responses, I actually should say, but people were like, I love to hear those stories. And that's what we promote. People love to hear the stories.
So first of all, since I'm going to take the advice of one of your previous guests, Craig said that you should self-promote. So if people are watching this and like this, they should go back to episode 71 and check the first time I was on.
Well,
there's plenty of stories there.
Well, that's fine. Self-promote is fine with me. And that was a great show. So let's make this one a great show. And then, like I said, you might have to hold a couple till the next time, but I'm sure there's more stories to come.
That's what I have to do. We'll do that. But first I wanted to take kind of a serious start here. Short while ago, a few months ago, my older brother passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. He wasn't a wrestling fan, but it was I'm from a family of 5 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
It was a reality check, we're not going to have the same family gatherings again. We're not going to have those conversations. So it got me to thinking, if you need to do something, do it. If you need to contact someone and talk to them, do it. You don't know how long you have.
Exactly.
And if you need to share something like wrestling stories, that's what we're going to do tonight.
Exactly.
Exactly. So to go on from there, with another of your previous guests, Susan Green, I just wanted to say, there was a time when she first came to the WWF
mm-hmm.
in 1972. I had an opportunity to meet her briefly. It was at a TV taping in Philadelphia. And at the TV tapings, they only had maybe 500 to 1,000 people tops.
Mm-hmm.
They closed off the 2 ends of the arena. And one of the ends was in the dark, but there was an area where a lot of the wrestlers could come out and watch the matches without being seen.
Yep.
Unless you're looking for them.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
So every now and then I'd look that way, and it was the second round of tapings, and like, I think that's Susan Green back there. So I worked my way back and got close enough, introduced myself. She waved me over, asked her if I could take some pictures. Took 3 or 4 pictures. And this was around the time when New York had lifted its ban on women's wrestling. And I think they were bringing her in to promote her to fight against Moolah. So, I asked her, are you going to be back here at the next taping? If you are, I'll make prints of these and, I have them for you.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, no, I really don't know what my schedule is. They have me going all over the place, but you can send them to me. And I'm like, I didn't expect, that kind of contact. So I give her a pen and paper and she starts writing out. She's halfway through the address and she says, this is my mom's house in Texas. You can just send them to her. So, our meeting was very brief, but she was very graceful. Gracious. She answered, a few questions, and then I just, let her be. She wants to, watch the show. I didn't want to interrupt anymore, and also cause other people to come over.
Yeah.
So it was good. So I had gotten home, got the prints made, and sent them off. Never heard anything, but I didn't expect to hear anything.
Right.
So hopefully, and I know she's not going to remember, that some guy sent her 3 or 4 pictures.
No, you'd be surprised.
Ago.
No, right, Jeannie? You'd be surprised if she remembers. Because she actually sent Jeannie and I pictures, or Jeannie and me, I should say. and she is amazing. We were talking about her, at our last podcast too, saying that she's 72 and still training men. Okay.
Yes.
She
Yes.
is amazing. She's an amazing person. And I'm going to send her this podcast tonight. So she'll tell
Good.
me if she remembers you, and I'll let you know, because she's smart as it. I mean, not even smart. The woman is crazy smart, but I'm saying she's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Like I'm 68 and I'm like, Jeannie forgets things. I forget things, but Susan, man, she's got it going on. She really does. She's
Good.
crazy.
Yeah, nice lady. Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. And you know what? Thank you, by the way, to all the other listeners as well, because she told me that she's been getting requests
Cool.
for some people going to her school. So anybody who wants to go to her school, you can contact her on Facebook, Susan Green without an E, and or contact us. The email is not on here right now, but it is 316carmela@gmail.com, and we'll get in touch with her for you at no problem.
Good.
So thank you for that.
I actually also have another picture I'll send to you, and you can send it to her.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
So go ahead. The floor is yours, John.
So we are going back in the time machine now.
Here we go. Wind it up.
To the 1970s, to Philadelphia, to the Philadelphia Arena, 45th and Market Street.
I'm sure I was there.
Right off of the L stop that brought you right to the front door.
Yep. Crazy.
Just next door to the arena was the studio where they used to record American Bandstand with Dick Clark and the locals. It was kind of it was a good area in a bad neighborhood,
It was crazy, but we weren't scared. It was great.
No, not really. No. But and Jeannie, had you gone to the arena?
No.
You missed it. You missed it. It was old. It was dirty, beat up, run down, all that stuff.
And I would trade it for the world.
Wasn't it great?
Trade it for the world. It's crazy. Remember seeing the mice on the grill where they were making the hot dogs, and you'd eat a hot dog anyway?
Oh my God! No.
They would just push them off to the side, but their hot dogs were so good.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good promotion or not. I don't.
Well, the building's down anyway, but my God. Some of the best times in my life were spent in that building.
At the arena, we saw so many characters, the wrestlers, the good guys, the bad guys.
And they actually had two completely different areas to come out of. Yeah.
Two different parts of the arena. Yeah.
Yes.
So they could meet at the ring and go at it.
It was literally, you're right, two separate parts of the whole arena. It wasn't like two doors right next to each other. Right. It was two separate parts of the building. Yeah.
Now the TV tapings, they all came out the same.
Yes, that was different. Yeah.
But for the house shows, it really helped build up the anticipation too for a lot of these guys. So anyway, aside from all the wrestlers and other people, there were a lot of characters among the fans. And I passed over this last time because it just got into too much, but we're going to go into it now.
Okay, good.
So to start with, there were four of us who kind of hung around a lot together. It was Paul, who we just spoke about, who was always the driver. He would if you wanted to go anywhere of any distance, he would do it, and he would drive.
He loved to drive. Yeah,
he loved to drive. I have to tell you that he at times did drive in excess of the speed limit.
No way. Paul?
A couple times, yeah.
No way.
There was a story he used to tell me, I remember, about driving. He always used to say that when he first started driving, he would always, he just had it in his head that the middle of the car needed to be on the line of the road. So he's taking up both lanes. And he finally stopped doing that. But yeah, Paul
no, he never stopped doing that. He never stopped doing that. We always used to say, pick a lane. And he always used to his big thing was if you get tired, Mountain Dew. Just drink Mountain Dew. That'll take care of it. That was his big thing, his big go-to. But
So-
yeah, he loved to drive. He'd love to be around the wrestling. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's all right. So we were in Kansas one time, and I'm already straying off of what I have, but we were in Kansas one time on a cross country trip, and we're coming back home, and he's flying, and I'm in the passenger seat, and I can see how fast he's going. You know, all of a sudden there's a police car that pulls alongside of us, and the guy looks over to him, and you know what he does? He does this, and Paul gives him the okay. He slowed down. The cop left. It's like,
Wow.
how do you get off all the time? Well,
He had an angel watching him. I'm telling you, he did. One time, he told the cop, he got stopped. He told the cop, and we weren't even together. He told the cop, he goes, look, dude, you know, I've been away for a couple weeks. You know, I've been working out of town. You know, I got to get home to my wife. You know how it is, you know, and the cop let him go. I said, we weren't even together, but he did. He got away with murder all the time, all the time. God bless him. He did.
So the four of us that we kind of hung around together was myself and Paul, Karin's brother Bob, and our friend Ray Malzecki.
Yeah.
Ray was a real fan. Ray was a little devilish. He kind of reminded me a little bit of those, the Beavis and Butthead characters where they're giving you the elbow. Look, over there, look.
John, stop. You know, he became a referee too. Did you know that? He also passed away, though.
You know what? I know that he also passed.
Yeah.
I had heard that he was a referee, but I didn't really hear much more about him.
And he had a tick. Ray had a tick. He really did. No, you know, and it's funny because it sounded exactly like what you said, but that's awful. That's awful, John.
Wow.
It's not awful. It's true.
It's true. I know, but it's like poor Ray.
He's remembered, you know. He's remembered in a nice way, you know.
Always part of that clique. Always, yeah.
Yeah. There were a couple of other guys. They were right over top of where the wrestlers came out. There were a couple of seats, and there were these two guys that were referred to as Richie and the Mailman.
Oh my God.
They referred to the guy as the mailman because he always had his postal service uniform on.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had other clothes, but you know, they always had comments on whoever was coming in and out, you know, from the ring or to the ring, and they, to me, reminded me of those two old guys from the Muppet Show.
Oh my God.
Adler and Waldorf, where they're always saying something about.
You're brutal.
It was true.
All right, I get it.
Okay. There was another
I'm glad
guy.
you're not talking about me on somebody else's podcast. I can only imagine.
Well, you're not in this list for this one, so.
Okay, thanks. You're going to save me for another one.
Yeah, for next time maybe I'll have to come up.
Okay.
Anyway, there was this guy, this short guy, who used to walk around the arena selling magazines and programs. He had a little hat, and we nicknamed him Smokestack. He always had a pipe, but in the pipe he had the butt of a cigar, so it kind of came out and up, kind of like a little train smokestack.
Oh my God, it did. I remember him too. My God, you're really digging up the past there, John.
There was a young lady who was maybe underage, maybe not, who was very friendly with the wrestlers. We'll just call her Mary T. I don't know if Carmel remembers, but
Mary T.
That's as much as the name.
T?
That's as much of the name as I'm going to. Wait a
minute. Was the T actually the letter in her last name?
Yes. The T was.
I'm thinking, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you.
You can tell me after the show. Go ahead.
There were the M&M girls, two girls who always came in from the suburbs for the Saturday night shows. They sat in the back in the corner, but they were there at every show. M&M, not because they liked candy. M&M because it was Michelle and Marianne. were their names.
I remember them. Okay, I remember Michelle and Marianne. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that much I remember. There was a few of them that were back then. There was a Lillian. There was,
you know
oh my
what?
God, don't get me started now. I'm thinking.
During those times, I vaguely knew you. You know, I knew your brother more than
Right.
you at that point. You know, I got to know you in the years following, you know, by going over to your house and meeting your family and including your dog, which I never really, well, I'm straight.
Bruno. You mean Bruno,
Bruno,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say the name. I don't know. You're real big on San Martino. And I don't
Yes. We
know
named
if I
him
would name
Bruno.
my dog Bruno, but
Yeah.
there was Screwy Louie, who was actually one of the referees, who we will get into that in a few minutes.
Okay, good.
Obviously, there was Ringside Rosie, your mom, Ringside Rosie. But there was a Spanish Ringside Rosie.
There were multiple Ringside Rosies.
Yes, but this one never was at ringside, actually. She was always in the second row. And I think that was because it kind of held her back from getting thrown out. Because she had plenty to say.
Yeah.
You know, she was there every show.
They tried to throw my mom out once.
No.
And I had said that on a podcast. And do you remember the officers back then? There was an officer named Officer Lumpkin. I love that man. He was one of the officers. They had real cops there. And she threw a soda at the Grand Wizard. And they were going to throw her out. And he said, no way. And the Grand Wizard actually bought her another soda so she could have it again when she went back to her seat. Yeah, so that was fun.
That's funny. That's funny. There was, we had mentioned last time, there was a guy named Barrels who assembled the ring and
yes, I remember him.
Had tools, he always tightening turnbuckles. Barrels used to hate the cage matches because in those days they didn't have a cage that lifted and lowered over top of the ring. You had to assemble it. So they would have
it was a horrible cage.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it was just the fence that goes around the backyard. It had the fence with the poles, and they used to like tie them all the way. It was like, I believe, 2 on each side, and they tied them, and you banged into them. It wasn't like, you know, obviously today you banged into them, the whole cage went like this, you know, where you thought it was going to fall down because there was no real leverage. There was no real, you know, assembly, but it was funny as hell. And they broke a lot of times.
And Barrels always had to remember which side the door was supposed to be on. You know, you put the door on the wrong side,
forget it.
Off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was one of the well, he worked there. There was Big Gino. Big Gino was a supersized fan, so to speak.
You're talking about Gino Moore? And he became a wrestler?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
This was another guy.
Okay.
Yep. Or is he a wrestler or a manager?
Both.
Maybe.
He had that kind of comb over hair.
Might have been him.
I think it was him.
It might have developed after I was
really disgusting human being. But go ahead.
You needed to like him, but I get it.
He was foul.
Yeah.
There was Melvin Douglas Phillips.
Please.
Otherwise known as Mel
Phillips. Yep.
So going back to Ray, one day he says, hey, you know what? Mel and Mel hated to be called Melvin. It was always Mel.
Yeah.
So Ray says to me, you know what? Mel's middle name is Douglas. How did you find out? How did you find out his middle name was Douglas? Oh, they were talking. I heard it. So I don't know if it was or wasn't, you know. So I just assumed it was. So we're at ringside one time, and coming around, about to cross in front of us is Mel. So Ray's like, look, here he comes, and he leans over, and he says, real quiet in my ear, Melvin Douglas. And then as loud as he can, he bursts out laughing. Mel,
remember this. It's so funny.
Ray says, I don't know. You know, I know it's childish It
Yeah.
just was
Oh,
funny
but
as
it's
hell.
funny. But you had to have been there. Like everything you're saying to me is now resonating. It's all like, oh my God, oh my God. But yeah, and
Yeah.
then Mel, I don't know if the actual accusations started back then or if the alleged action started back then. I don't know that for
You,
sure.
you know
But
what?
he was
Back then, I don't know when he got into what he got into, but back then we were we were focused on staying away from another guy who used to be there. He used to come in from New York. His first name was Barry. Um,
I think
he
I know Barry too.
Yeah, he was a guy who's like, no, you need to keep your distance from him.
Wow, yeah.
But in spite of all that, I
Was he a
mean,
fan or a wrestler or?
he was a fan who also was an aspiring photographer. But he always had a lot of young boys around with him.
Mm.
You know, it
Yeah.
just was a bad scene, you know.
Yeah, and it's still going. The lawsuit is still pending. It's still going on in Maryland. And
Yeah.
Linda McMahon, who is
No,
our
yeah,
Department of Education with children, is part of the group named in it.
yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. But it's funny listening to all this that you're talking about. It's like hitting me in the head like a ton of bricks. It's like crazy. And Stan the Fan, you can't ever forget him. You
Yeah.
got to understand something, people who are listening to this. Okay, I know you don't remember. Maybe some of you do, but we're talking in the 70s. This is what wrestling was like. Now, you know, you guys today go to wrestling and you go with your own little groups, you know, and like, oh, you know, tell your own stories and whatever. But these are stories that where we could actually focus and talk with the wrestlers at the same time,
Yeah.
which to me was paramount. You know, you couldn't beat that.
You know, there were no guardrails around the ring.
No.
Fans were allowed to go up to the ring to try to get autographs.
Yeah. Yeah. All the
My
time.
younger,
That's where I got hit in the head with a bottle when I went up to the ring. Yeah.
my younger brother Joe used to have. He didn't go very often, but when he would go, he used to get tons of autographs.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah. The wrestlers would come in and sit in the corners. They'd squat down, and all the fans would go up around the two posts, and they'd sit there and sign forever, even after the match, blood and everything.
It wasn't one of these things where, you know, pay the guy over there and I'll sign a piece of
No,
paper for you.
it was never like that. It was wonderful. And then they'd come out at the end. They'd come out sometimes during intermission, like a lot of the independents do, Jeannie.
Yeah.
And it was fun because you got to see them up close and personal, and that didn't cost you a dime, you know. And the tickets back then were what, like $5, $2?
Oh, no. $3 and $4. I think $5 was ringside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got ringside. We didn't have to, I mean, we didn't have to pay. My mother didn't have to pay.
Right.
But we were running around all night long. It was wild. It was crazy. It was the best time. It really was.
I should have hung out with your mother. I didn't know she
You should have.
me.
Well, hey, you know, when you came over and found out who she was, you should have clicked. But you were never seated anyway. You were always running around taking pictures and hanging out with the guys anyway. So, you know, but we had so much fun. Oh my God. So much fun.
Good times.
Yeah, it was great times. But now you said you wanted you were going to go back on a story. You drifted. What story did you drift from in the beginning? You said I went off.
It was about the fans. I was going to get into the fans, but it was
okay.
You know, I just kind of went past that. So there was another guy who I met at the arena. He was always interested in the pictures I was taking and like what matches have you seen? He was always there with his wife. He was a couple years older than me, but he was trying to break into the business. I can't remember his last name. His first name was Bill, and I used to see him at a lot of the shows. He'd come over, ask me about the pictures, and then he would tell me he's been going every two weekends a month. He's been going to this little place in West Virginia. He would drive Friday night. He would get out of work, leave Philly, drive to West Virginia, and then he was working out with somebody out there, and he was able to do an indie show on Saturday night and then Sunday afternoon. And then he would drive back to Philly to get ready for work Monday morning. So he kept trying to get me to go out. You got to come out with me and take. I'm doing half decent. You got to come out with me, take pictures so I can use them for promos and all that.
Right.
Like West Virginia, I don't know. Yeah. Come out with me and my wife, and we'll go. It's like, I got to work. Some people have to go to work and fit wrestling in between. So I never had the opportunity to go out. I don't know how his career panned out. So nothing happened with West Virginia. So about a month or two later, it's early, maybe around June or July. He says, I'm wrestling in Wildwood, New Jersey. Want to come out and take pictures? Like, yeah, I like Wildwood. I've been there many times.
Yeah.
It's a great place. I'll go out. Where are you wrestling? I'm at the Aqua Circus. Wait. At the Aqua Circus. The Aqua Circus is a diving act where along the Wildwood Boardwalk.
The pier. Okay, yeah. Where the pier is, right?
These high divers go up and jump into a pool. What do you mean? What are you talking about? He goes, I'm wrestling Victor the Wrestling Bear.
Oh, God.
He's at the when they have a break in the show, they have people wrestle bears. Like, you're wrestling Victor the Wrestling Bear. Yeah.
So he wasn't a real wrestler.
He was breaking into the business. He was trying to break into the business. So I don't know that he was signed anywhere. The West Virginia thing was like a little indie show.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. So we got together, he and his wife and myself, and we drove down to Wildwood. We spent some time on the beach. We walked the boardwalk. We got some pizza on the boardwalk. It's nothing like pizza on the New Jersey boardwalk.
Oh, you know that.
And we get down to the Aqua Circus. Okay. He goes over to the box office. He talks to somebody. About a minute later, the door opens and somebody's waving us in. So we go in. He says, I'm going to introduce you to George. Okay. George is a guy who was the Bears handler. George Allen was his name. He was the handler of Victor. So we go in, he had been a wrestler. Little toughy, like 5'10", just like real tough attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I introduced myself, told him, I'm here to take pictures of Bill, and that I also take pictures for Big Book of Wrestling and all that stuff. And he says, okay, you want to take pictures of Victor? Yeah. Okay, I'll go back and bring him out. So like, okay, I was expecting just to take pictures during the matches.
Mm.
So he goes back. A couple of minutes later, he comes walking out holding a chain, and this big 700-pound brown Alaska brown bear comes walking
Wow.
to him. And like, oh man, how are we going to do this? So he says, okay, I took a shot of the two of them standing there. And then he says, after Victor wins a match, he I give him a Coca-Cola. He stands on his hind legs and he drinks a bottle of Coke.
No, he doesn't.
So he stands Victor up, gives him the Coke. I take the picture. And I take one more picture after that. And then just like that, he says, okay, that's enough. And he turns around, he walks Victor back to where he had been.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that was weird. That was really sudden. About 5 minutes later, he comes out and he says, no wrestling tonight. Victor got spooked by your flash. I'm like, my flash? You asked me if I wanted to take pictures of him. Yeah.
So there was no match because you flashed a bear?
So he said because the bear was acting weird to him. I don't know, the bear, I don't know.
Maybe there was something in that Coke.
Could have been, but he didn't want to take a chance, Do
you have a picture of that still?
Do
you have a picture of that?
I do.
Can you send me that too? I'd like to post it on the podcast. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything in person that weighed 700 pounds.
So I look at Bill. I said, "You struck out again. I can't take any pictures of you wrestling. There's nobody for you to wrestle here." So we sat and we watched the diving show, and then after the show we went home. So again, he struck out. Now, flash forward 6 months. It's Philadelphia in January. It's about 20 degrees outside. It's freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
Every year in January in Philadelphia, they had the Philadelphia Sportsman Show at the Civic Center. And they had outdoor equipment, hunting equipment, camping equipment, everything for outdoor, sportsmen.
Right.
Along with some entertainment. And the entertainment happened to be Victor the Wrestling Bear.
Oh, wow.
Your brother says, "I want to go. I want to wrestle the bear." Like, you want to wrestle the bear?
Oh, my God.
You want to wrestle the bear? Yeah, I'm going to wrestle that bear. I said, you have to get selected. Yeah, I know. We're going to go. I'm going to go. You're going to, hey, Paul, you going? And Paul says, "I'm not going to miss this."
I remember this now. Oh, my God.
So Bob, myself, and Paul go to the sports show. And I used to like this show. I would go every year, but this year they had Victor, and it was a little bit a different kind of draw. So we go in there, and he's pushing through the people, and he gets up to, and he gets selected. So they selected 4 people to wrestle the bear.
I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So I said, you have to sign a waiver so that if anything goes wrong, nobody's held responsible. You're on your own. He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to do it, but you're going to take pictures of me, right?" Like, if I can get close enough, because it gets kind of crowded enough, if I can get close enough, I'll take pictures of you wrestling the bear. So it comes time. He gets selected. He signs the waiver. He's the second one in line. So right before that, the handler kind of fools around with the bear, and he knew what to do. When he grabbed the bear a certain way, the bear would flip him over his shoulder. Like, pretty impressive,
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, now we'll have our volunteers come up, So the first guy, he was only in there maybe 15 seconds, Here comes Bob. Bob comes up, and I can hear the hand, and Bob's kind of like positioning himself, and I can hear the handler saying to him, "No showboating, just go wrestle. Don't be fooling around." So he goes up, he grabs onto the bear, and literally I think the bear was just standing there, and it kept moving backwards and backwards, and maybe he was in there 20, 25 seconds, wasn't able to do anything with the bear. So he stepped off the mat, I think, and that was it for him. He comes off. Paul is cracking up.
I can imagine that.
I'm laughing. He looks at me and he says, "Did you get some pictures?" It's like, yeah, he's just a little bit vain, So,
a little.
So I did get a few. I said, "Well, how was it? How was it?" He goes, "Man, that bear, he smelled bad."
Oh, my God.
It's like, he's an animal,
It's a bear.
It's a bear, right? But yeah,
I know some people who have smelled pretty bad. Wow, that's crazy. I do remember that incident. Yeah, for sure.
That was kind of I don't know. It just was funny that after I wasn't able to get Bill to get pictures of him wrestling, then all of a sudden it pops up again. So
yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
It was
so.
Funny.
What do you have any any more arena wrestling stuff that you like with wrestlers?
Yes.
Just jump into one of those.
Okay. How about Lou Super? Let's do Lou Super.
Oh my God, Lou Super! I remember him.
Okay.
Well, you're really killing my brain here, John. I'm telling you, my brain is like, wow.
Referee Lou Super.
Mm-hmm.
Little roly-poly kind of guy.
Red-haired, right? He had like a reddish hair. Yeah.
Yeah, reddish hair.
Poor Jeannie, you don't remember any of this stuff. You weren't even there. You were probably not even born yet.
Most most of the
I was
rest.
born late 60s, so this is 70s.
Okay,
I wasn't around. We just
you were a
didn't go to
baby, a little
wrestling.
baby.
Most of the wrestlers really didn't listen to Lou Super. He was just kind of in there. So the TV tapings were in Philadelphia, and then they also had them in Hamburg, PA. On the way home from Hamburg was like an hour and a half or so from Philly.
Yep.
So we get out at 11 o'clock, get onto the turnpike, and we would stop at the Howard Johnson's in Allentown.
Yep.
Because they had 24-hour breakfast, like
Yep.
scrambled
I used to do that all the
bacon
time.
and eggs all the time. We would get our 11:30 breakfast, before we got home. So sometimes wrestlers or referees would stop in.
Yeah.
So we're in there, and Lou Super comes in, and we're like, oh look. So he goes over to, they had soft serve ice cream. He goes over, picks up a dish, and he's putting the soft serve ice cream. And we're waving, come on over, come on over. And he's like, how you boys doing? Did you like the show? And it's like, yeah. He goes, oh, you ought to get some of this ice cream. It's really good.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at him. I said, you like that? He goes, yeah, you ought to get some. So I got up and I got vanilla soft serve. It's regular vanilla soft
Ice
serve,
cream,
yeah, nothing special. So I'm eating it, and I see him. He had finished. He's got a napkin. He's wiping out the dish. I'm like, don't wipe the dish. Just put it in the cart over there. They'll take care of it. And I finished. He says, "You done with yours?" I said, "Yeah." He grabs my dish. He starts wiping that, and I'm like, "What is he doing?" He kind of looks around. He takes the 2 dishes. He puts them in his pockets.
What? He stole the dishes?
these little glass Howard Johnson ice cream dishes.
Oh my God!
So
how did he put them in his pocket?
So again, like I'm looking, and Ray's giving me the elbow. He's like, what's up? What's up? So we walk out, and we get outside, and I said, what's with the dishes? He says, come on over to my car. We go over. He had this little T-Bird. He opens his trunk. There's a box in his trunk. He opens the box. There's 8 Howard Johnson ice cream dishes in there. He goes, 9, 10. Okay, good. I only need 2 more for a set of 12. Then I can give them to my sister for Christmas.
Oh my God. Are you kidding?
I'm like, we burst out laughing.
You know who he always reminded me of? Jeannie, the guy who played George Costanza's father.
Yeah.
Right? Stiller, Jerry Stiller. He reminded me of him in same body, the same, but he had more sparse hair, and it was like a little orangey, more so than Jerry Stiller. But he was funny. He was just like that. Did any of the wrestlers happen to come in that night?
Not that night, but we did occasionally. I'm trying to think. We saw one of the Blackjacks came in once, and then a couple of the like the preliminary kind of guys, the jobbers or whatever you want to call them. They would come in. I think most of the other guys probably went either straight to the hotel or straight to their next destination.
Well, when I used to go, we used to go. Well, when we went to the arena, I was too young to go to the other places. But
right.
After the Philadelphia stopped the tapings, we used to go from Hamburg and Allentown. We used to go to those 2. And we used to stay. Jeannie, were you ever with us when we stayed over to George Washington Motor Lodge? Between Allentown and Hamburg, we used to stay at the George Washington Motor Lodge. And man, I can tell you, there are stories about that place that would stop a clock. Let me tell you. Okay. But that's another show. Have you ever been to the fairgrounds in Allentown?
Not to Allentown, no.
But you've been to Hamburg Fieldhouse.
Yeah, they were still doing them in Hamburg and Philly at the time.
Now in Hamburg, there was just the one place, the one doorway. When you walked in, it was on your right side, and you could come in and out. And I used to take the wrestlers outside, and I would cut their hair outside. I would bring my hairdressing stuff, and they'd all get in line, and I'd cut their hair before they went in the ring. I had my squirt bottle and my scissors, whatever. And I never got paid, though. Not one person paid me a dime. I got dinner or I got coffee or, whatever, but it was like, oh, she's here, let's go, but
But but like you were saying before, things are different now than they were then. And those guys, they were looking for rides. They were looking for anything.
They were looking for
any
anything
kind
they
of
could
extra,
because
yeah.
most of them were poor.
Yeah.
Most of them were as broke as I was, and, it's a shame because they literally lived day to day, paycheck to paycheck, event to event, whatever you want to call it. And this is again why I always, I talked about how they started coming to my house because there was no place for them really to go. They couldn't afford it. So they'd come to my house. My mother would cook or I would or whatever. And we'd have a blast and it was fun and they loved it, and then they'd go back the next day or whatever. But we had so many wrestlers from that time period. And it was wonderful. And I remember it like it was yesterday because we became so good friends with all of them. It was amazing because you were there for that too when they used to come over to my house and everything. But we used to have a blast. It was a great time. Now, did you ever go to Madison Square Garden? I know we went there several times. I didn't go there all the time.
I went 3 or 4 times to Madison Square Garden. I honestly only remember one of the main events. It was shortly after Pedro won the belt, and he was fighting against George Steele. That was the main event. It's 50 years ago. I really don't remember the matches, but the good thing with the Garden is we would meet with Paul and Ray. We would meet at 30th Street Station and take the Amtrak right up to the Garden.
Yeah.
You get off the train, you go up the escalator.
You're up the steps, it's right there. Yeah, it's right there.
It was amazing.
It's crazy. And the thing is, I'm going to take credit. I'm going to do it right here in public. I'm taking credit for starting the Burger King name for Pedro Morales. Yeah, because he had those trunks. Remember, they were like a brownish, and then and then the orange. And he looked like Burger King. They looked, and my friends and I just kept yelling Burger King, and how other people pick it up. But I'm taking credit for that, and I don't care. I did it. I started it. That's it.
Okay, so I have. I'm going to jump past the referees because I have something else.
Okay, go ahead.
There's 3 stories that I'm thinking. It's not the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's kind of more like the hero, the villain, and the Baron. Okay. So the hero, we're going to go. Jeannie, I'm sorry. This is kind of a lot.
I know, poor Jeannie. She's reading something on the internet. She's like, I don't care about this.
But you'll have to look. You'll have to look these guys up.
Yeah, just try to look interested.
The first one, the hero, Boston Gardens.
Okay.
Pedro Morales, the champion, against the Mormon giant Don Leo Jonathan.
Oh my God, I loved him. Yeah,
this guy was good.
For as big as he was, what? Lord, he could do some stuff.
Like that. He had a number of matches with Andre. He did.
But this guy, I mean, God bless Andre, not taking anything away from him. This guy was long and lean, and boy, could he run those ropes. He would do twirls. He'd jump off. I mean, this guy was what'd you say, almost 7 feet tall?
He was close to it, yeah.
Yeah, he was amazing. Look up Don Leo Jonathan. He was amazing.
So anyway, this match, Morales against Jonathan, the hero is Jonathan, and I'll tell you why. The two of them, they start the match and they're back and forth. And Pedro was what, 5'10"?
Yeah, if that.
So it was like a foot difference. And Jonathan was really good. I don't know why they didn't give him the interim championship when they were going to.
I don't know. He was good.
But anyway, so they're fighting, and the Boston Garden. We talked about the Philadelphia Arena, how unruly the fans were, and how they threw things. The Boston Garden was actually worse.
Yes.
Whenever I was at Boston, I always sat in the mezzanine. I didn't want to sit at ringside.
No.
You can see the show, and so the two, Morales and Jonathan, are fighting. and all of a sudden I see something flying through the air. It's a bottle, and
Mhm.
it's headed right toward two of them. And don't you know, it whizzes right past Jonathan and smack right in the forehead of Morales.
Oh no.
Pedro goes down, and he's bloody already. Quick thinking, Jonathan rolls Morales out of the ring. As he's going through the ropes, I can see him look at the referee, and he goes out to where Morales is laying on the ground,
Mhm.
and the referee. They used to count to be counted out. It used to be a 20 count.
Mhm.
The
Yep.
referee, a slow 20 count. The referee was 1 to 10 very quickly.
Yeah.
Ring the bell.
Yep.
At the time the bell was ringing, they were already coming out from the back to
Yeah,
pull,
he was really
pull
hurt.
Morales
Yep.
back, to
Yep.
stitch him up and all that.
Yeah.
Without breaking kayfabe, Jonathan saved the day.
He
Jonathan
saved
saved the
he
company.
might have saved
from
his
the
life,
championship.
actually. Yeah.
Um, and
That's crazy. I remember that. Let me ask you a question. Was that particular garden, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but was that arena the place where they had to eventually put a thing up to hide the
yes,
wrestlers away from the fan? Because Lanza, I think it was, got stabbed in the leg by a fan.
Mulligan.
Oh, Mulligan it was. Put a
Yeah.
knife right through his thigh and
Well,
pulled it down like Harry Carey, man.
It was a year or two before that when Morales
Okay.
had just won the title
Okay.
that
Yep.
Mulligan was fighting him for the championship.
Crazy stuff, man.
And um, a fan came in with a knife, got into the ring,
Hmm.
stabbed him down, or like right down his leg, and was able to get away.
Yeah.
Um,
And after that, they had to cage the wrestlers to
so
protect them from the fans. That
so
was crazy.
they put after that they put a top over top of
Yep.
the ring, like a net over the ring, and that's also when they started putting the guardrails around.
Yep.
So
And
that
if
you
I'm not
couldn't,
mistaken, they also had a like a fence or um a port that went
like a
from
little
the,
shoot,
the
yeah,
back, yeah, all the way
yeah,
out. So the wrestlers, when they came out and went into the ring, they were completely covered.
yeah.
That's crazy stuff. Yeah, but I
So,
remember that. Oh my God. And
so
it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking to myself while you're talking, there's not a soul out there that's listening to this who's going to remember any of this. But this is so cool to me.
maybe now they will. Maybe
Maybe
now
now,
they'll
yeah,
listen
maybe
to
now somebody will remember, but you got to understand. I just want to clear this up. Like for us, okay, these are incredible stories. I'm saying for us, for John and me, poor Jeannie's in La La Land here, but these are incredible stories because these are things we actually experienced.
Yes.
We were both in the same buildings at the same time for the most part,
Yeah.
and it's amazing that today things are so different in any federation. The fans are so different today too. Like years ago, they thought nothing of punching a wrestler in the face, and there was nobody there to defend them. There was nobody there,
Right.
and a wrestler could hit you back then. Now, of course, he can't. Obviously, you're not supposed to hit a wrestler either. But years ago, that was free for all, even out in the back. Remember the back of the arena?
Oh yeah, that's yeah, I
Oh
do.
my God. That,
Yeah.
and what's funny, that's the only thing that ever scared me about the arena. I would walk around, I was like 12. I would walk around that building. Me and my friends walk around late at night. We didn't care. But when the wrestlers came out, we were all in the back with the wrestlers. My mother, my father, all of us.
Yeah.
The wrestlers would come out. That was when we feared for our lives at that point. Because you remember, Jeannie, the story about Jim Cornette. Was it in Frank Chili? Was that Frank Chili and Jim Cornette? He had to throw him in the car because back then there was no cops back there.
Well, that was in the 80s, and that was in at the Civic Center.
Was it the Civic Center?
Yeah, that was the
okay.
Civic Center.
But these people were just back there, and half of them were drunk. Half of them were and effing this and effing that and throwing stuff and everything. And like I said, at the arena, I was up in the front. I didn't know. I was so young. And I felt this thing hit my head and my head just bleeding like I had just been beat up in the ring and I got hit in the head with a bottle. But you know what? It was so weird. I loved going there though. I loved going there. Nothing scared me about that building ever.
Well, the one thing I know, because like for the indie shows that I go
Mm-hmm.
to, depending on where it is, in Jersey, there's no guardrails.
Right.
And a lot of the times the kids do go up there and it infuriates me because I know what can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, while the matches are going on, sit your fucking little ass down, get control of your kid, or he's going to get hurt. And when he gets hurt, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Okay?
Well, see, I blame the parents for that.
Yeah, they just let them roll wild,
Yeah.
and it's like, what are you doing? And it
Yeah.
just infuriates me. And I can't stand, and like hearing your story, you got hit with a bottle. Granted, but what the hell were you doing at the freaking ring during a match? Like, stop.
But yeah, I know, but see, like I said, back then it was common. It wasn't like today, the kids running up there.
So common, you got your head split open.
Yeah, but it was only once.
Doing it.
It was only one time.
Even when you sat at ringside in the first row, I got hit with a soda. I got hit with flash cubes.
Yeah. They hurt when they hit you in the head back then.
Pieces of fruit,
yeah.
All kinds of stuff. But
square flash cubes that went on top of the camera and they spun around. That thing hurt when it hit
when you're done with 4, they throw them out, and then somebody else will pick it up and throw it at the ring.
Throw it at you. I mean, people were throwing pencils and water bottles, not water bottles. There were no water bottles, but just soda bottles and things like that. It was so crazy. But they were like, and I'm sorry, I know it sounds crazy, but if I had a young child today, I wouldn't let them go near the ring either. I may not even bring them to a wrestling match today. But years ago, we all did it. Like everybody was up against the ring. Everybody was. It wasn't just like, like now, like 2 or 3 little kids run up. We all went up there and sat there with our arms like this on the ring, and nobody pushed us away. That was.
Usually, if it was a main event, they would clear out around the ring. But
also, they wouldn't let you jump up on the apron. Those are the 2 things you weren't allowed to do. But when the wrestlers came in, we all sat in the front. We all ran up to the ring. And like I said, half the time the wrestlers knelt down there in front of you and signed a bunch of autographs. Yeah. And then they moved the people away, and then the match went on. At the end of the match, zoom, people went right back up to the ring again, And unfortunately, as much as I, shouldn't say this, my mother was right there. My mother was right there with us, and she was worse than some other people with the name calling and the throwing stuff, but her hair always had to be done. She always had this thing, like Sally Field's daughter said on
Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias looked like a football helmet. But yeah, she always looked nice, but she was there right up in the ring, and I was like going crazy. It was great. But again, those were wonderful days. I wouldn't trade them for the world. I really wouldn't.
So the second part of these stories.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The villain, or maybe the jerk. I don't know. You decide which one fits better.
Okay.
Now this one, Jeannie will know the guy. This is when I'm out of wrestling 20-some years. It's 2004, I think. And I'm working at an agency that helps people with disabilities. I'm working with getting people employment at different places and following up and helping them to keep their jobs. So I'm driving to the CVS in Blackwood, New Jersey, where I have a guy in there who's doing janitorial work. Around the CVS, there's a huge parking lot, but leading up to the parking lot, there's a narrow driveway. So I'm driving, I get to the driveway and I stop. In front of me, taking up nearly the whole driveway, is a stretch limousine idling. So I toot the horn, nothing. Now it's like, come on, man, move. I toot the horn twice. This arm comes out from the driver's side, like, come on around. I'm starting to get pissed, So, all right, there's a big parking lot there. Just move up into the parking lot. So
but could you get around? I mean, were you able to go around them?
Yeah, just
barely. You just didn't want to?
There was just a narrow, portion I was able to get by.
Yeah.
And I realized as I'm passing the driver, I looked over and I gave him a nasty look, and the guy on the other side happened to be superstar Billy Graham.
Oh God!
Driving the stretch limo. Now this is after his heyday. You know, I know a lot of those guys did a lot of side jobs, and I pull into the parking spot, and he's still sitting in this driveway part. I get out of the car and I'm start shaking my head, and I hear him yell out, "You got a problem?" You know. So
Oh God.
and I'm thinking, just keep walking, shut up and keep walking.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and I'm going, and I don't know that the door ever opened, but I get to the door of the CVS, and there's this guy coming out, 3-piece suit and tie, real nicely dressed, real pleasant. He says to me, "Good morning, how you doing?" And I know I was just like, "Hi," and I go in, and then I hear him yell over to the limo, "Come on, we're late, we got to go."
So who was that? Do you know, or it's just a client?
I never figured out who it was, but apparently he was driving.
Superstar was driving the limo, huh? That's a side job, I guess.
Like, what a jerk,
Yeah. Well, no, see, now Jeannie can tell you, if that was me or Jeannie, both of us together, and somebody said, "You got a problem," what would we have done, Jeannie? Come on. Yeah, I got a problem.
Giving them a problem.
Oh yeah, especially and we wouldn't have cared who the hell.
Oh yeah, who it was. We would have went right up to the limousine
car.
Yeah, and said that you got a problem, get out. Let's see what you're gonna do. We would have probably both been under the tires by that time, but
So the third story is the one that I called the Baron. So obviously it's Baron Mikhail Cicluna.
Oh, I loved him.
Baron Cicluna against Victor Rivera.
Oh my God, I loved them both.
So Cicluna used to, from time to time, Cicluna would use a foreign object.
Yeah,
a lot. I don't know if they do that anymore these days or not.
Oh no, they don't use foreign objects anymore. No,
they just use a baseball bat or something.
Yeah, that's it. You see the actual foreign object. It's not foreign. It doesn't get hidden anymore.
So anyway, it's Rivera against Cicluna. Cicluna at the time was half of the tag team champions. Him and King Curtis were the tag team champions.
I loved him too. Oh my God.
So
it's gonna make me cry.
So Cicluna, like the two of them would lock up. Cicluna kept getting Rivera in a headlock, reaching his tights. Everybody in the arena except the referee saw that he had something in his hand. He would hit Rivera. Rivera would go down. So it was back and forth. 3 or 4 times he did that. Again, he grabs Rivera into a headlock. This time they're right in front of me, right, like I'm in the first row. They're right in front of me. I see him go in like the side of his trunks, and he pulls out a roll of quarters.
Oh yeah, that was a big one back then.
And in his hand, while he's got Rivera in the headlock, he snaps the roll of quarters. He hits Rivera. The quarters go everywhere.
And then the referee had to see that, right?
Referee said, "Ring the bell. Rivera's the winner. Cicluna's the loser." And all the kids around the ring were winners too.
Yeah, they got the money.
We're all scrambling for quarters.
What was his one? I don't want to say catchphrase because that's a word. What was his one signature thing that he did every time he got hit? See if you remember that.
Well, I know he used to hop around on one foot.
That no matter where you hit him, no matter what happened, no matter where he got hit, how he fell, what was his signature thing that he did?
It escapes me.
Remember that? No matter what happened, he always held his ear. This guy, you could slap him in the head, you could pull his hair, you could kick him in where, you could trip him, you could stomp him, and all he ever did was run around holding his ear. It was so funny. He'd come in with this big red velvet cape. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he would flip it around and all. I mean, he was a wonderful man. He spent a lot of time at my house too. Him and Dominic DeNucci, forget it. It was so funny. We used to have a blast with them, but it's great. John, it's getting to be around that time. I hate to cut you off right now, but we're going to come back.
Before we go, I just wanted, because it just popped into my head. Tomorrow, Saturday, November 7th, there are 2 indie shows.
Oh, really?
You and your memory, I swear to God, I want to smack you.
Okay.
Okay. This Saturday in Morgantown, Morganville, Morgan, whatever. The ECWA, Joel Goodhart's going to be ringing.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, darn it. Okay, go ahead.
ECWA, Joel Goodhart's going to be ring announcing, and Tony Stetson is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And then in Delaware,
that's right.
I can't remember the name of the town, but in Delaware,
it's in Houston.
Houston, yes, thank you.
Spelled Houston, but they call it
Houston, yeah.
Where our boy Glenn Osborne is going to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. So, and Craig Pendergrass is going to be inducting him in. I don't know who's inducting Tony.
Okay, well, we're going to have all 3 of them on a podcast shortly after, so we can congratulate them for their Hall of Famery. Hall of Famery.
I just wanted to bring that up before you wrapped up.
No, I'm glad you did.
It just popped into my head.
No, I'm so glad you did. If anybody can make it, please go. I hate last minute stuff. I know, but it is what it is. John, I can't thank you enough. I know that when everybody hears this, they're going to think for a minute. They're going to say, wait a minute, what is this all about? Like, we're talking about referees, and we're talking about holding ears, and we're talking about, but you guys got to understand, if you stop and listen word for word to this is for me and any older wrestling people. Okay. It is literally gold listening to this stuff. And again, I just want to interpret what the feeling is about what wrestling used to be like, and how amazing things were, and the camaraderie, the friendship that the fans were actually allowed to have with the wrestlers, and the get-togethers, and the
lifelong friends that they made as fans.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, to this very day, God bless these. If most of them were alive today, I mean, we would have a podcast to end all podcasts. It would be like amazing. We'd have a 10-picture screen almost every week, and it was crazy. We're going to do, as a matter of fact, when we do our tribute to Bruno, which is not going to be our 100th episode, because we're booked up until January 1st now, or January 2nd. Yeah. But it's going to be one of the shows. We're going to do it probably in January. But I've asked Dave Yohannan if he would do it with us, and he graciously agreed. And I also am going to have Larry Zbyszko. I'm very excited about that. Larry Zbyszko agreed to do it, so I got to call him. He said as long as it was after the holidays, he'd be fine with it. We're going to have Susan Green on again with her third part of the story. We're going to have you back, John, for your third part of your story. We're on January 2nd of 26. We're going to have Judy Arnold come back with Little Richard Brown for the roller derby, in reference to the arena again. Were you there for a lot of the roller derbies, John?
No, I went to one show.
Oh my God, we were there. We lived in the arena.
I used to watch it on TV.
Yeah, we lived there. My family lived at the arena with the mice and the rats in there. We loved it. We lived there, and that was the end of it. But anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody for your patience, your kindness, for listening to the show. I want to thank you for your kind wishes for Paul. I want to thank you so much for your kind wishes for me. And, this has been a rough week. Jeannie, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. On the 19th of... 19th of November, Jeannie's going to be in hopefully only a 1-day procedure. You're going to have a procedure done at the hospital.
Yeah, I'm getting cut open.
Yeah, she's getting the old knife
down. A little
one.
I have to get robotic surgery on my kidney.
Yeah, so we're going to wish you well all the time. We're actually moving. We're actually doing the podcast that week on the 18th. We're going to have Barbara Goodish again. And we're going to do that because Jeannie's going to be.
How much do I love her? Because she's amazing. Do it without me,
She didn't want to do it without Jeannie. Nobody wants to do it without Jeannie. Come on, it's nothing without Jeannie. And no, she said absolutely, we'll do it on the 18th so that Jeannie can come and do it with us. And of course, I would never just not do something with you. You know that. But we wish you well. We wish everybody well. I know your wife isn't feeling that great, John. We wish her well. Tell her that we send our love to her as well. I want to again thank the fans. I always have to say thank you, David. I got your 2 videos. They are amazing. And I am extremely happy that you sent those videos. Anyway, thank you. We're going to send this out. We're going to cut it down tonight. And I just don't want to give too much out so that everybody will come back for the next show. I love doing this. This is amazing.
And right, don't forget, John, because I want to know who this Mary T is too. So
he'll remind me and I'll let you know. I'm thinking, I still can't think of the T. I'll think of it. But let me tell you something. There was a lot of girls back then.
The ring rats.
They were more than ring rats. They were more than ring rats. And it's funny because I'm going to say one more thing. And I'm letting everybody know, okay, I was never a ring rat. And I don't care what anybody says.
You said that 1,000 times. We know.
I know. And I'm going to say it 1,000 more. Davey O'Hannon, God bless him, has always said that, for some reason, the wrestlers respected me. I guess because I respected them and they were always at my house and stuff like that. So it was never anything disrespectful, excuse me, but there were girls there for that. So, these girls want to do that to their images and their bodies and their heart and soul. That's on them. I was never that kind of person. Jeannie, you were never that kind of person.
You would have killed me.
I would have killed you, definitely. But, we never did those quote unquote favors for the guys that some of the girls did. And, there's no point in that. Number one, you don't get anything out of it because a lot of people think that, well, if I do this or that, I'll get this or that. And you don't, because the wrestlers, whether they're men or women, sometimes are disgusting. They're pigs and they're freaks. So none of that for me. But anyway, although I did, never mind. We'll talk about that another show. But anyway, John, thank you again. I'm going to take you off.
Thank you. That was fun.
And tell you that we loved it very much. Thank you. And Jeannie and I are going to close out the show. I'll talk to you either later tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, honey. Have a good night. All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Jeannie, what a good show.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I love stories. I love them. I could listen to stories for hours.
Yeah.
But anyway, really good stuff. Again, everybody, we're going to do Monday night, whether it's Johnny Hotbody with us or just Jeannie and myself, we're going to do the recap of the AEW. We're going to do some WWE recap. We're just going to do the content, get it out, explain what's going on. You make your own decision. Okay. We're not going to anymore try to influence you either way because the WWE, whether we still follow it much or not, or whether Jeannie likes it or not, or whatever, it's still wrestling. It's still what we all grew up on. And in all fairness,
it's not that I don't follow it. I just don't really watch it because I'm not paying for the thing.
No. I'm not paying for it either.
In my opinion, Raw, I can get Raw. I have Netflix, but all the commercials and all, and it's just 4 matches in 3 hours. And
I know
it's just not for me. It's just not for me. But I see highlights of things that are going on, so I know what's going on. But
right. How about tonight? Are you going to watch SmackDown?
No.
Do you have TNT, TBS, whatever? Yeah. USA. Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
I have all the basic channels.
Yeah. So I'm going to watch it. I want to see what's going on. I'm going to write some stuff down so we can have some part of the recap for Monday. And, we just try to bring you whatever's going on, whatever's happening. That's our job.
And the one thing that's great, especially because this is part of entertainment, is everybody has their own likes. Everybody, has their favorite genre of music. Some people are country music. Some people are rock and roll. Some people are hard rock. Some people are rap. Some people are dance, whatever.
Right.
You're not wrong.
No.
Just because it might not be the kind of music I like.
Yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't make you wrong. Doesn't make me wrong. It's all subjective.
It's all an opinion. It's all subjective. And it's not like we get anything for it,
Exactly. So if you like WWE, God bless you. Go for it. Go to every show. Go watch every pay-per-view. Watch every TV show. I'm not going to hate you for it.
No, of course
You
not.
know?
And that goes for the
And-
AEW too. It
And
goes for all of them.
AEW,
Yeah.
people, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. No big deal. Other
Exactly.
people it is, and you just shouldn't hate each other just because
No.
it's not
No.
for you.
No, and that's the way it is with everything. Everybody's got their own cup
Yeah.
of tea. Everybody has their own taste in everything,
Right.
like you said. So we're not here to dissuade you or to persuade you in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
That's your decision. We're just trying to. The only thing I ever asked was give AEW a chance. If you give it a chance and you don't like it, that's fine.
Right.
You don't have to, But we will talk about all of the federations. We will talk about everything that's going on and just take it from there. But in the meantime, I love you very much, all of you. Jeannie, I love you. And we will be here again on Monday evening, and this is going to drop tonight. So thank you. Have a great night. God bless.
Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Mwah.